DeGraff.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish I could say I missed this place. All right.
Representative DeGraff, I missed you.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. I said this place. I didn't say anything about any of the persons. I did miss the persons. So, let's get this started right for SJR 26-002. I do understand that it is to set the time and date, but I do have problems with the language. And the problem with the language, and for which I will move in a moment, is the term His Excellency. Now, it strikes me as odd that the neo-feudalists of this chamber, like DSA, call for no kings while literally demanding a monarchical society.
Representative DeGraff, I want to get off on the right foot and no clapping, please, thank you. Kindly ask that we have no name calling as a part of our explanation as to why we may have a particular viewpoint or opinion on either a resolution or a piece of legislation. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Okay, so we're talking about no kings. So won't talk about this other stuff here, but I thought it'd be very interesting. But this ceremonial phrasing, His Excellency, has been used for many years in legislative journals and resolutions when referring to the governor. And it always struck me as a little bit odd, especially in this environment of no king. So really, I'm taking this up on your behalf. So you're welcome. So this ceremonial phrasing has been used for many years in legislative journals, but the excellency part has always struck me as odd. So I thought this year I'll take issue with it. However, if you're looking at the Colorado Revised Statutes available on the website, there is no section that defines or uses His Excellency or Excellency as an official title for governor. Now, there's a lot of problems with the term governor because it ties back to the feudal times, the monarch times. I'm not sure exactly how that word is. I'll make one up later. So the CRS refers to the governor of Colorado. That's it. So we're talking about the governor, someone who governs, some issues with that. But the ceremonial reference to the governor as His Excellency in the legislative resolutions, such as those inviting the chief executive to address joint sessions of the General Assembly, is a vestige of outdated protocol that lacks any basis in the Colorado Revised Statutes or the Constitution. It's not a formal title enshrined in law. Its use perpetuates a connotation of superiority that undermines the foundational principles of the American republicanism as articulated in the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution and the Colorado Constitution. This argument draws on the egalitarian ethos of these documents, the symbolic architecture of this Colorado State Capitol itself, where we find ourselves sitting. In an era marked by public demonstrations like no kings rallies, adopting a more fitting honorific such as the honorable would better align with these principles, ensuring that the governor is positioned as a servant of the people, not positioning himself above the people, or not having the legislative body positioning himself above. The Declaration of Independence, which serves as a philosophical cornerstone for both the federal and state governments, proclaims all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It further states that governments are instituted among men to secure these rights, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. This is the Constitution. These are the principles to which we took an oath. This language emphasizes that no individual in government holds inherent superiority. Authority is delegated by the people for the express purpose of protecting their rights, not elevating officials to the status of excellence or eminence. The United States Constitution reinforces this by guaranteeing a Republican form of government. Now, I think the most basic way to define the difference is that a republic will protect the individual from the mob. A democracy will feed him to it. But prohibited any granting of any title of nobility, which of course governor refers to as a title of nobility, as is His Excellence, by the United States or by the states. Well, His Excellency is not a heritable nobility title. Its origins trace back to the monarchs and the colonial traditions, where it is used for viceroys and governors under British rule. In a republic, such language evokes a hierarchy incompatible with equality. The Colorado Constitution echoes these ideals in its Bill of Rights, affirming that all persons have certain natural, essential, and inalienable rights, among which may be reckoned the right of enjoying and defending their lives, which is why we have the Second Amendment, and liberties, which is why we have the Second Amendment, and that of acquiring and protecting property. Again, we have our Second Amendment, and seeking and obtaining their safety and happiness. The governor, as outlined in Article 4, is the chief executive. That is not excellence, tasked with the faithful execution of the laws, but nowhere is the title excellency mandated or implied. Instead, the Constitution frames the executive as part of a balanced system of checks accountable to the people and their elected representatives. Using excellency connotes a level of superiority. Excellence, deriving from the Latin term excellentia, meaning towering or eminence. That clashes with the self-evident truth of equality. Public officials, including the governor, the civil servants, not superiors. This is evident in the Constitution's emphasis on accountability. The governor can be impeached by the House. He does not excel. He is not eminent over the House. And tried by the Senate, underscoring the subordination to the legislative will of the people. The physical design of this building, the Colorado State Capitol building itself, embodies these constitutional principles, symbolizing the primacy of we, the people, over the governor, and their government. Architect Elijah E. Myers intentionally placed the offices of executive officials, including the governor, on the first floor with the chambers of the General Assembly situated above them on the second floor. And to further elevate this symbolism, public galleries are located on the third floor, allowing citizens to observe legislative proceedings. From above the chambers, from vantage points, we the people literally look down on the General Assembly appropriately, which in turn oversees the executive below. This architectural hierarchy mirrors the preamble of the United States Constitution, we the people, in order to secure the blessings of liberty. And it reinforces that the government exists to serve, not to rule. Inscribing or invoking a title like His Excellency for the governor disrupts this symbolism, implying an eminence that elevates the executive above the representatives and the people that they serve. The rotunda and the dome, with the panoramic views and historical inscriptions, such as those honoring diverse Coloradans in stained glass, further emphasizes a government of the people, by the people, for the people, not to the people. The notion of public officials as civil servants is central to our Republican governance. The governor, like all elected leaders, is entrusted with power to secure rights, not to bask in a superior status, not to guide, not to direct. Excellence suggests an inherent quality of betterness, which contradicts the humility expected of servants. Federalist Paper number 39, authored by James Madison, describes a Republican government as one where the persons administering it are appointed, either directly or indirectly by the people, without heredity or elevated distinctions. This argument resonates deeply in the light of the No Kings rallies that swept Colorado and the nation of October of 2025, where thousands gathered in Denver, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, and other communities to protest authoritarian tendencies and to affirm democratic principles. These nonpartisan events drew 12 to 15,000 people. Democrats echoed an anti-monarchical spirit of the American founding, strangely enough. Participants.
Representative DeGraff, you have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So to honor the constitutional principles without diminishing the respect, the General Assembly should transition to the honorable governor. In resolutions and proceedings, this honorific is already used, and that's why I move SJR L001 to SJR 002 and ask that it be displayed.
Representative DeGraff, the proposed amendment has been properly displayed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I see at least one legislator down here to agree with me on the No Kings premise, and I do appreciate that. I can only imagine that you're down here, I should say, I can only imagine that you're down here to support the no king sentiment. So in conclusion, well, wait a minute, I'm not done to the conclusion yet. You threw me off. This honorific already is used for legislators, judges, and other officials, connoting dignity without superiority. It aligns with the federal practices, the honorable and cabinet secretaries. It reinforces equality, such as change. No statutory amendment, such as His Excellency, appears in non-binding resolutions, but it would symbolically affirm Colorado's commitment to a government of equals, not kings. So in conclusion, the Constitution, federal and state, envisions no excellencies, only servants, only public servants securing rights. The Capitol's design and the spirit, recent rallies amplify this. The governor serves under the oversight of the legislature and the people. Abandoning his excellency would uphold these truths, ensuring our republic remains where all are equal, with no kings or excellencies among us. So today is your opportunity to vote for kings or no kings? That is the question.
Representative Garcia.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. It is great to be here on day one. And I think, given your remarks today, I feel moved to stand and say, to start us off on the right foot of that word that you all said for me. I agree with this resolution. I do believe that a more appropriate term for a governor that is duly elected is honorable. And I would urge that we all agree that we don't have kings in this state or in this country, and that we do respect the governor's position by referring to him in a respectful and a more appropriate term as honorable. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion before us is the adoption of Amendment L001 to Senate Joint Resolution 002. Mr. Schiebel, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Representative Bradley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Representative Bradley votes yes. Representatives Brown and Joseph, thank you. Please close the machine. With 53 aye, 12 no, 0 excused, the amendment is adopted. Madam Majority Leader.